Okay, so welcome. Before I started the recording, I was starting to introduce myself. My name is Katie Hotko. I am a lecturer here at SCU, but in this guys, I'm here as someone to help you try to demystify the very basics of what it means to create a presentation in PowerPoint and the very simple ways in which you can record a presentation and then download that recording as an MP4. So I have designed tonight's workshop to be some opportunities for you to put it into action. So we're going to do a little bit of time for you to have a play on your computer as well. Come back and talk to me about it and we'll troubleshoot some things. So it's quite a practical approach tonight. I know we've got 2 hours together. I will not be talking for that entire 2 hours. Little tiny bit about me is that I'm a teacher of creative arts. I love all things colourful and design, but my main approach is to make things as simple and as easy as possible for you. So that's what I'm hoping for today. And I do love in this online space when we're working together, I really love to try and create an environment where you all feel comfortable to speak up. So if there's any questions that you have, I would love you. I mean, if you really want to, you can put your hand up, but you can unmute yourself. You can say, hey, Katie, I don't quite understand this. You can talk to me. I do have the chat that I can see down the side here, and I'll do my best. But sometimes it's better if we can just have a bit of a question. Sorry, what was that, Kelly?
Patrick.
Were you trying to talk to me, Kelly, or?
No, sorry, I'm just trying to figure it out.
No, that's totally okay. So, well, that's a great opportunity. Down the bottom left corner of your screen, you should be able to see your mute and unmute button. But please, if you want to talk to me, unmute yourself and say, hey, Katie, and then ask the question. I would love that to happen. I like to try to pretend that we're in a physical room here together and all learning together. And you can also, if you would like, turn your video cameras on so that I can see you and we can sort of work together. Of course, you don't have to, but I always welcome it. So to get started tonight, let's see if this works for me. I really want to start by acknowledging the country that I am coming to you from. I'm on the beautiful Gold Coast, which is the land of the Kombumerri people of the Yugambeh language group. And I really want to pay my respect to elders past and present and really acknowledge that this is a place of learning. And as I always do, and I know we're not technically doing creative arts here tonight, but I would like to acknowledge that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples were our nation's first artists and storytellers. And I do think that creating a PowerPoint presentation is somewhat of a story that we are creating, and there's a little bit of room for us to put a bit of ourselves into our creations. So they're not just dry academic works that we do for our assignments, but it's a little tiny place for us to play as well and do a little bit of creative work, or at least I hope so. I'm putting the plug out here early because otherwise I might forget, is that I'm doing a series of different workshops. So I think that they are being run every 2 weeks, I think, about this time of the evening. For those of you who are working like myself, we have a bit of an evening time to play. So in 2 weeks' time, on the 19th of March, I'll be doing a sort of a beginner's use of Canva. Tonight, we're learning about PowerPoint, just as the basics of the software and what it can do to create videos. 2 weeks' time, we will have a look at Canva, which is an online website. To be honest, it's the one that I prefer. It's my favorite way to make slideshows, and it's sort of where I have moved over the years, but I think it's important that some of us just feel more comfortable with PowerPoint. So just an encouragement there. And then I think I will just I may have it. That's the registration link if you wanted to go and register for that one there. All right. So the way that tonight will run is we're going to do a really, maybe the first 15 minutes or so of tonight, we're just going to have a little think about the powers of PowerPoint itself to create the visual slides that might be the foundation for a video that you might need to create. So there's lots of reasons that you may want to make a video or a presentation in at SCU while you're studying with us. It might be that you have an assignment that requires you to do a presentation. Is there anyone here who knows that already, that they have an assignment they have to do? I'm seeing Ben's hands. So if a few of you might already have a presentation that you need to do. So tonight what we're going to do is have a think about how you might arrange the textual elements and visual elements, but also learn how we can record ourselves talking through our slides. And there's multiple ways that we can approach that. So I can see in the chat that a few of you have that already. Others of you might be not doing coursework, but you might be studying your PhD or your master's. And for that context, you will certainly have some moments, some milestone moments where you will need to present your research. So that will either be in a live format, kind of like myself right now, presenting over Zoom, and where you'll have to present your research, or you may need to, for say some conferences or various things, create some videos. So hopefully this is useful for all of that there. Up front, I just want to say it's really important that we have a think about what our slides look like. They are sort of the foundation where when you're creating a video, it's where you can deliver lots of information if you need to. But we want to keep the slides really cohesive and visually appealing. So as we move through here, I'm just going to touch on a few little tips that we can do that with. So in the first 30 minutes of this evening, we're going to go through these 4 different things. So a few little design tips that we need to think about. We're going to look at how we can play with icons and images, how we can insert videos and various pictures, and some little tips for when we are presenting. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat or interrupt me. First of all, I want to say that particularly for creating a presentation for your assignment, there's no need to feel like you need to do anything whiz bang or fancy. And there's definitely, you don't need to be an artist. There's so many different ways these days, in particularly compared to even 5 years ago, that the technology is there that can really help us to create a cohesive design. And I'll show a few of those to you tonight. My second tip is that in presentations, I think generally less is more. Please try not to have huge amounts of text on the screen, especially if you are delivering and talking at the same time. It makes it really difficult to understand and really pay attention to your story. So if you're speaking, it's really important that you're almost reading everything that is written on your screen. So you don't want to have big walls of text, unless, of course, you give time for the viewer of your video to be able to read that. So I always think less is more on the slides in terms of the written work, and to try and keep things quite simple and streamlined. And also this tip here, often we are looking at things on quite a small screen these days. Back in the past, when we were working in, if you were giving a presentation, say in a tutorial, there may be a really large screen, and there might be room to have a fair bit of text on the screen that could be read. But these days, often we're creating videos, we're recording them, and they're being watched sometimes on really small screens, or at least a laptop-y size screen. So you need to think about the size of your font. So this second tip here, less is more, but make sure your text is quite large so that the audience who are either watching you live or who are watching your video, so that they can actually read it. So I want to show you, and the way I need to do it, and I hope this will work for me. The sharing was a little bit tricky earlier. When I did this, did it stop the screen sharing? Just, okay. I'm going to have to do a bit of fiddly work tonight, which is a bit frustrating, but hopefully this will work here. Can you see?
Yes. Yeah.
You can see sort of my like the back end of PowerPoint. Is that right?
Yep.
Like, excellent. I think this is how I'm going to have to work because it seems to, when I flick in between them, it seems to want to get rid of the share. So what I want to do is I'm going to take you through and show you how we can play with some of these icons and different things like that as ways to sort of draw some visual cues to our information. You'll notice on the slide just before, well, I'll just click back up. I have some really simple icons that I have used here. So I'm going to show you where we can find this sort of thing. And we can resize them, we can recolor them and all that sort of thing here. So what I'm going to do is I might even just create like a little new slide for myself here. So I've got some space to do that here. So, and I will give everyone a chance to have a go and have a play at creating what I'm hoping in the next 45 minutes is that you'll have maybe a 3-slide slideshow that you'll be able to have a play with. So the first thing that we need to have a look at is we have this ribbon down the side. Hopefully everyone's pretty familiar with this of PowerPoint. It's got all the different slides that you're working with. And then up the top, we have the bar along here. So what we want to go to is the insert. And then the first thing that we are going to look at tonight are these icons, which hopefully most of us have the same version or similar version of PowerPoint. This is Microsoft 365 that is available to everyone who is studying at the university. You're able to download and get that while you're studying at the university. You can access this software for free. Does everyone know that or had found access to that? Yep, beautiful. So you're able to access this here. So here are our icons here. What I like about these is that if I have a point that I'm making, I can just write in some keywords here and it will help bring up what I need. So if, for example, I'm trying to, I should have thought of a topic beforehand. Early childhood is what I saw in the chat earlier. So someone might be doing a presentation about play in early childhood. So we might, what happens if I put in the word play? It could come up with an icon like this, and that might be what I like, that is going to be a signifier for a particular title that I'm working with. So I'm just going to insert that here. And 2 things have happened here. The icon has been inserted. I can resize it to make it as big as I like. Bigger is better, I think. And then the other thing that I can do is change the color. So if I stay within sort of the thematic theme I've got going on here, which is sort of those grays and whites, what I would probably want to do is turn this icon into a white colored icon. And there's a couple of ways I can do that. In PowerPoint, there's always a couple of ways that you can do things. So the first is that you can right click with your mouse and up come these shortcuts here. And I can just jump in here and change it to white. The other way that I can do it is I click on it to make sure it's highlighted. And this is the tab that comes up here on the right-hand side, graphics format. That means I can change anything I want along here. So that's where I would be able to go graphic fill, and I could make it green. I could do whatever I want there, but I think keep it simple. I'm going to make it white. Tell me if I'm moving too fast, but I'm just trying to make things really explicit for those of you who may not have done this in a while. So that's one thing that happened there. The next thing that I wanted to show that actually happened automatically as I inserted that was, hold on a minute. Here we go. It came up automatically before, you might have noticed it. Which is the design suggestions. And this is one of those things that's changed relatively, gosh, when I first started my PhD, this didn't even really exist, but technology's come quite a long way in the last few years. And you'll find that the design suggestions could be used if you wanted some ideas and you didn't want to have to come up with the design all on your own. So you could start by putting some content on here and open this design suggestions, which these ones are pretty boring and a bit not useful, but you might find that when you put some text on the screen, it might come up with some ideas and you can have a play with those. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to go back to the insert here, which is insert, icons, and just show you two more things, and then I'm going to send you away to have a little play at getting some icons here, because it's not just icons that are available and free for you to use in PowerPoint. There's all of these other things as well. So there are easy to insert people if you wanted to grab any of these to help illustrate your point. All sorts of abilities and races are there. And what's great about these is they have, oh, that looked a little rude for a minute there. Hang on. Let's choose this one and we'll just hit insert. They have the background all taken away from them. So they're quite, they're really easy to use. The other thing that you could grab and use that are all really easy to access. Sorry, this is coming up. The stock images picture is coming up as well, isn't it? Good. Let me know if I'm blathering on and you actually can't see what I'm talking about. Sometimes I can't tell what's screen sharing or not. The other things that are here are there's cartoon people, and you can even sort of really quite tailor them. And there's different, probably for your university assignments, you probably won't be using these stickers. Maybe you will. But there's all sorts of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you like just 2 or 3 minutes so you're on a computer right now, and I'm assuming your PowerPoint program is here. So you might want to just minimize the screen of what you're looking at from me and take a few minutes to open up PowerPoint, have a go, open up a slide, give it a title, and then maybe use a few icons that you change the size of and change the color. So maybe 2 or 3 minutes for that. And then when you've achieved that, let me know in the chat that you're back and ready to go. Does that sound achievable for everyone? I'm here and I'm going to try not to talk to you for the next 3 to 5 minutes. But I'm here in the chat if you need to ask any questions. I'll try and answer some questions in the chat. So take a few minutes, open up PowerPoint, create a little bit of something. Okay, so away we go. Does everyone have access to PowerPoint as a program to use? We're all good? Okay, all right. How's everyone going? Do you need, let me know if you need another minute or so. I'm just having a play here, adding some different icons here as bullets. All right, that has been a few minutes. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to do that there. Give me a thumbs up if you succeeded, or maybe a thumbs down if you're still struggling a little bit. I'd love to see how everyone is going. Okay, we've got a few thumbs up, which is fantastic. Uh, okay, so the next thing that so there's basically when we're creating this PowerPoint to be able to record our presentation, we'll have some form of text, is my assumption. We will have some sort of illustrative images to help sort of make our point. But what we might want to do, and I know certainly for the units that I teach, is that you might have some separate videos that you've taken that you need to share. So not so much what we're going to learn soon, which is how to record, our faces and our voice as talking to the presentation. But I know for the assignments that I have in my courses, we do the creative arts. So I actually have students create drama videos or dance videos, and they might be out in the bush when they create those videos, and they would need to insert them into their slideshow to create that final video. So there are a few different ways in which this can be done, and I want to show you that there. So when you're, I wonder if this will play, and if I do this, is it going to stop the share? Hopefully not. Hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. But you can see that in here, there is a video that I've embedded into the PowerPoint slide here. That everyone can still see that there. So what I want to show you there, and I believe I may lose this sharing again. I want to show you the variety of ways in which you can do that. So if you wanted to add a video, whether it be a video that you've taken yourself or maybe a short video from the internet, if there's perhaps like some sort of, I don't know, there's many reasons why you could need to do it if you're explaining something in anatomy that you're studying, and there might be a sort of a 3D modeling of something that you want to insert in. This is how we do it. Well, there's lots of ways that we can do it. We could do it by clicking one of these little icons here in the automated box here that has lots of insert. But generally, if we're inserting something into PowerPoint, we go to this insert tab here. And for videos, we can open up here along the top right here. There's a button that says video, and there are 3 choices. So I'm going to show you how you can insert something from your own computer. And I downloaded one earlier. So I created one that I would have here, which is of cute puppies. I'm not sure how relevant that is to anyone's assignments, but away we go, and I've inserted the video there. And then you can choose to resize that video however you would like. So there is that option there to insert a video. I thought about it this afternoon. I thought, what videos do I want to look at while I'm demonstrating this? So we've got some cute puppies there. The other way in which you can do this is if you have a say a YouTube clip or a video from an online source, what you'd need, and I've saved it here earlier, so I'll grab it now, is you would need the URL from a video, but you can do it from inside PowerPoint. You just go here to video and you can go online videos and just click that button there. Takes a few moments. And just copy and paste your video in there. Gives you a little preview. Again, some puppies, different ones at that. And it is coming. And again, we can resize that video. I mean, as you can see, you could have multiple videos on one screen if you wanted to. I'm not sure why you would, but the ability is there. And then the final inserting of a video that is available here is stock videos. So those are videos that you are able to access through your subscription. I think that everyone is eligible for under SCU. As a student, you should have access to the full library of creative content here. May be useful, may not be useful for you, but it's all there. So let's just have any video there just to show you. Obviously, you need to have access to the internet as you're doing this, and we can't really see that video working until I hit display. Let's see if that works. So you can see that that video is running in the background there. Okay. Let me get out of here. And hopefully I'm still sharing, which I think I am. I'm not going to give you time to practice that at the moment. Hopefully, does anyone have any questions about the ability to insert videos into their work? No questions about that? It's all good. I'm not going to give you time to practice that because I would like to get on to us actually practicing the recording portion, but perhaps later on when you have a bit more time, you might be able to put some of that into action there. So one final thing that I would like to show you until we get down to the nitty-gritty of recording our presentation is that if you need to record your presentation in one take, or if you have an assignment where you're actually giving a presentation in real life, there are some tools that we can use that help us to rehearse. In an ideal world, you'd have a wonderful family member or partner who would be willing to sit there and listen to you rehearse and practice your presentation. And that's fantastic. But if you don't have that, what there is some little things that you can use online to rehearse with a bit of an AI coach. So I wanted to show you that functionality. Now, the way that that works, and I think this is where I need to stop my share and share again. I know it's frustrating. I'm just going to share the online, which I believe is this one here. So when you have PowerPoint, I was working on the desktop version of PowerPoint then. You actually have the ability to log on to PowerPoint online. Has anyone had a go at doing that before? Used the online version?
Yeah, it was a bit of a train smash because not all of the functionality is available online.
That's very true, which is why I've been working in the other one so far, but I am skipping across here. And Ben, have you had a go at using the rehearsal coach before?
No, I haven't used that.
Okay, so what, And look, I'm sure there's better ways to do this. Anyway, I do things the way I've always done them, which I literally type in PowerPoint online and then I click onto it and then I log in. That's how I find it, but I'm sure there's a better way to find it. But all of you should have the 365 account and you would be able to log into your PowerPoint online. And there are some great things about it. You can use it anywhere. But this rehearsal, I've actually used it quite a lot when I'm practicing having to give a presentation under pressure. I like to practice. So I'm going to show you now where to find that. So this is exactly the same document that I was just working in. And so anyway, I'm still tickled by it that it saves in real time. So those changes I was making are already there in the online version. But what we will use is, and I believe I have this here to show you exactly where it is, but in the online version, what you do is you go across to the present button, and it's the little chevron here that you can click. And there's a couple of different options, but the option that we're really interested in is rehearse with coach. And what this does is when you have developed all your slideshow and you're ready to go, what you can do is have a practice delivering your talk with this. So I'm going to do a pretend version of it here. I haven't actually got a talk that's ready, but here we go. And hopefully this all works with the screen sharing. So I've started in the middle of my presentation. I probably should have started right at the beginning. But that's okay. Let's start. Maybe I can click back a few. Hold on. I'll just click back a few here. There we go. All right. Let's pretend this is where I want to start. And can you see in the top, has this popped up for everyone in the bottom right corner? Excellent. So there is the option for me to have real-time feedback. I find it a little disconcerting, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, because it sometimes tells you what you're doing wrong in real time, which is good and bad. And we always take the feedback with a grain of salt as well, because it is a computer. It doesn't necessarily know everything. I'm going to leave the real-time feedback on, and I'm going to hit start. So what this does when you're rehearsing is it actually measures for the pace that you're speaking in and how clearly you are speaking. And if I was to use, hang on, I'm doing it on purpose so that it will pick it up. It will let me know if I'm sort of stumbling over my words a little bit. It will also pick up, and let me see, I can probably click across the slide here and I could talk about design tips and I could talk really fast and then I'll see if it picks up on that, and it does all sorts of little things. What it actually does is it times how long each section is as well, which can be a little bit helpful. The other thing that I've noticed that it does is if I was to say something like girls and boys as we work together, or it will pick up things like perhaps non-inclusive language, and it will make a comment about that. Perhaps if I was to use some bad language, it might pick up on that, but I'm not going to do that in the demonstration for you now. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and we will see. I will pause there. Let's get out of this here, and it will give you a little report, which could be good if you needed to do a 10-minute presentation and you had a time limit and you wanted to just, go through it, and it'll tell you where your time is and how long it took you and how long each slide was. It'll give you some tips about how you went and different things like that. So I just wanted to show you that that's out there. It may not be useful for you. But I'm often working alone and I don't necessarily have a willing family they're pretty good, but I don't want to bore them all the time if I have to rehearse. And this is a way that we can do it on our own. So let me know in the chat if you think that might be helpful for you. I just wanted to show you that option. I am going to stop my share and then share away again. All right, The other thing that I wanted to share with you about, and this is a little bit more along the realms of if you're presenting in real time rather than recording your video. And this may be old news to everyone, but this section here down the bottom, which in PowerPoint is the notes section, and that can be a really useful section for you, even if you are actually recording a presentation. But you can talk about presenting, and you can put all of your notes. If you want to script your talk, some people like to have a complete script that they read out. This is a great spot that you can put it. And I'll be able to show you in a moment what that looks like in real life for the script. So there is the notes feature, which I find quite helpful. And then you can also do that rehearsal. Anna has asked a question in the chat. You go online for it. Yeah, the online PowerPoint. I haven't figured it. I don't think that you can. I have not been able to find that rehearsal function on the desktop app. Let me know if it is, but I think it is only in the online version of PowerPoint. There. Okay, let's move
Hey,
on.
Katie, how did you get into the notes section?
Okay. Well, let me just, what I might do is just show you by opening up a brand new, oh, did it pause? Okay, stop share. Next time I do this, I'm going to ask to share my own Zoom link that I'm able to share properly with. Here I am. Hopefully you can see a brand new version of a blank slideshow. What you should have is down the bottom. Usually it's down here that you can just click to add notes. And then I often, if I'm adding, and often I'll add a lot of notes into this section. So I'll just hover over that line there and the double arrow, hopefully that's not too small for you, will come up and you're able to just drag it up like that. You can add lots of notes in there. I find it quite helpful, especially for later on when we record some speaking on each little slide that we go with. The other thing while I'm here that I don't know if anyone's aware of this is you actually, maybe you might need to present in class. I don't know if we do that, but you might want to present in class and you might want to have a physical hand, like a physical printout of your notes. One way that you can do that is by going, it's been a little while, hold on. Oh, there's a spot for it. Design. Hold on a minute, review. Here we go, view. I knew where it was. Okay, you go to view and then you're able to actually print out a version. So one thing we can do is we can go to the notes page, which doesn't look like anything because this is a blank slideshow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to where I was before and I'll show you what it would look like with my notes that I have. I've got a bunch of notes in this one here. So again, I go to view and I go to notes page. You'll see before I wrote talk about presenting. You probably have more nifty notes than that, but I'm scrolling right up to the top. Here it is. I don't have any notes on that one, but I do have some notes here that I might have put in. And so you can actually choose to print this out. If you wanted to print out a page per slide, that is an option. The other thing that you could do is you could print out, now is it this one? Nope, exit. You can actually print out a different version. So you can actually print out and choose how many slides per page that you print out there as well. So that's just a little, probably not relevant for you guys right now because you're recording things all online. But if you do like to have a physical copy of things, you can actually create a really detailed notes and print it out. there as well. Okay, so I want to go away from that view. Does anyone have any questions about that? All good? And Ben?
Not a question, mate, but I found in the offline version where you get the coach, it's under slideshow, rehearse with coach.
Amazing. Okay, well, oh, hello. I've started already, but let me just,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
it's a one shot straight into it, but at least you don't have to go online then.
That's excellent. Good to know. So now we know we can work with PowerPoint online if you want, but it's all deep in here, which is great. All right. We have made great time. What I really want to do is get deep into the actual nitty-gritty of everyone creating a video and recording things on their slides. But before we move on, I just want to make sure that everyone, the idea of creating the slides and the notes and how you set everything up, if that makes sense to everyone. So Anna's asked, what is the way to find the rehearsal? So I'll do that a little bit slower so that everyone can see that there, which is, thanks so much, Ben. It is along the top, there is slideshow that you can click on. So that's the slideshow tab, which has all of the different functions, say that you can put your slideshow up into full screen from the beginning or from the current slide. It does have this integration, which I haven't used for presenting on Teams before, but maybe I will. It has the rehearse with coach. So that's there. And as Ben said, you probably put that in the search bar, didn't you? And it just turned up. Is that how you found it? Which is often the best way. I sometimes need to do a strike through. I don't know if you've ever needed to do that, like put a line through words. I could not tell you where it is on Word, but I always just type it into the search bar and there it comes. So when in doubt, you can put things in the search bar and they'll come up. So for example, I showed you before where to insert a video. I write insert video, there it is, and it comes up. I don't need to know where it is. So it's always a good tip. If you're lost, type things into the search bar. Does anyone have any questions to ask before we move on to the practical application of recording our video? I want to give you all a minute to share. Feel free to unmute. Have I moved too quickly? You're all good? Okay, beautiful. Let's forge ahead. Okay, so for the rest of the time tonight, what we're going to cover is how to screen record in PowerPoint. Actually, we're not covering that. I'm going to just get rid of that one. Hang on, I'll show you how to do a strike through. Oh. Or at least how I do a strike through. There we go. We're going to learn how to record ourselves. So if your UA or the requirements for your assignment is that they need to see you physically presenting, I'm going to show you how you can do that. And while we do it, I'll also teach you how you can just record your own audio. So if you don't want your actual face on there, I'll show you how to do that as well. How to edit and troubleshoot, and also how to export the final product as a video, as an MP4. And I haven't got it written there, but I will also show you, if you would like, how to upload that video as a YouTube file, which is often the requirement for your assignments, is to upload onto YouTube. And I do find that some people don't know how to do that. And it will only take me 2 minutes, and I'll show you how to do that as well, so you feel really confident to do that. You will be practicing this, so hopefully everyone already has PowerPoint open and ready to go. The thing that we need to think about if your requirement is to include yourself is, I think it's really important that we think about our space. When I'm sharing online right now, I have in Zoom the ability to put a background on. If you're recording in PowerPoint, you actually don't have that technical ability, but you can blur your background out, and I'll show you how to do that. But I think it's important to be professional when you're creating your videos, that you have a think about where you are. So if you can position yourself in a space that's nice and clean, you'll see the opposite of that when I finally have to remove this background filter, and I apologize. But Ben's in a great place right now. Like, I don't know if you can see Ben here, but his background is beautiful. It's simple, it's professional. It doesn't matter if there are things there, but have a think about where you are. The other thing you should think about is the lighting. And actually, as the sun goes down, my lighting is not the best, but have a think about the lighting so that there's a light source coming from in front of you rather than from behind you, because it can be rather, and mine is getting a little bit that way. I've tried, I've got a light up there, but it's not the best. So either get great lighting and or just do it in the middle of the day when the sun is better. But think about that, because you can get a bit ominous looking if you have a light source from behind you. I have got the word mic here, and my husband's a big proponent of having an actual plug-in microphone. I actually find it's not a really big deal with the laptops that we have. I mean, if we were creating a presentation that was professional and to be perhaps, I don't know, for a real podcast or something like that, you may need a plug-in mic. But I don't have a plug-in mic, and I record videos all the time, speak clearly. It usually works fine. Also, have a think about your clothing. Like, I see a lot of videos in my day. I always think it looks better if you're not in your PJs, or you just think about a little bit of a professional look to what you're doing. So we've talked tonight about the slides, and then we also talked a little bit about where you can put your script. So there are those little considerations that we do before we even go to recording. So once we've thought about all of those things, what we're going to do is go and find this recordings tab. So hopefully, and I haven't talked about the difference between Macs and Windows machines, but I'm on a Windows machine. I don't know about Macs, but usually you Mac people are really clever. You can figure things out as well. So hopefully you'll all be fine. But this is all what I know here. So what you're going to do is going to find this record tab. Now, I'd love to check in with everyone. Has everyone got that record tab? Because there is a way that I can show you how to find it if it is not there. Because sometimes the setup is different and it's not there. I have a little video that I've even seen. So please let me know right now if you don't have it. And I'd love to hear, thank you, Sarah, that you have it. That's great. Because I'm not hearing from everyone, I'll really quickly just show you how to find it if you don't have it. And this might be the case for if you don't have something that you're looking for. You just can right click on the ribbony bit up here and go customize ribbon. And what that will do is it will bring up all the different things. And so obviously I have it because it's got a red click, but maybe if you don't have it there, it won't be checked. So there's that as just an option. I know that I always really want the draw option, and sometimes that's not there and you need to go in and click it. So anyway, that's just how you would go and find that. But I'm really pleased that everyone has that window there. And I want to show you the various things that this ribbon will do for us here. So the first one is, oh, goodness gracious, I shouldn't have clicked it. Hold on. Am I still sharing?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, this Cameo, which if you have the newer versions, it should be there. If you've got a bit of an older version, it may not be there. But what this does when you open it up is it will open up the different shapes in which your video can be. So you could choose to have it, camera is busy. All right, I'm going to stop my camera here so that and hopefully I can get my camera working. And this is where you're going to see my very messy background that I didn't clean up for you. And here it is. And I'm looking in the wrong direction because I'm on the wrong screen, but you'll excuse all of that. So it has the option for you to have a border. What else? It could be a circle with like a border around it, a diamond, all sorts. So anyway, I might pick a circle so you can see all my art supplies in the background there. And then obviously you can also resize the frame if you like. You can move it to wherever you want it to be. And that is something that I should have said before but forgot to, is when we are designing our slides and we've decided that we're going to talk and present in the bottom corner or whatever, what you want to do is think about, where am I going to position my head, my talking head, and make sure that there isn't anything else that you're covering up. So when you design your slide, you don't want to have, important text down the bottom right corner if that's where your head is going to be. So you just have to have a think about that. So there is that as well. So that's the shape. So I'm just going to get rid of that so that we just, excuse me while I'm a talking head to you here. Hopefully everyone can see this. What we're going to do when we record ourselves talking is it will come up with like a little recording studio type space. And I've got a screenshot of it here. And I have to do a silly stop share and then reshare so that you can see this in action. But how that happens is you go up here to record, and then you can either choose to go from the beginning of your slide, and most people will do that, or you could go from current slide. It's your choice, but I'm going to do it, and I don't think that it actually comes up. So I'm stopping my share. I am just sorting things out so that it will come up for you. All right, all going well. Let me know. Have you got my little studio space here? Perfect, thank you. All right, I'm going to give you a little tour of this space, and I'm going to demonstrate how we might record ourselves in this space. So there's a few little things that I want us to think about in this space. First of all, we need our video working. So let's get that back and happening. So up the top here is the video, which I have turned on here. If you have multiple cameras, so if you have like a webcam and not the one that's built into your laptop, you will be able to go here on these three little dots and you'll be able to select the camera. I only have the integrated webcam, but you'll also, if you have a plug-in microphone that I was talking about before, you can choose which microphone you want to use here. So that's these three little dots here. Okay, so I've turned it on here, and you'll notice that I have some background blur, which I find much more comfortable, that you're not seeing my messy room there. And how you get that background blur on is by this little icon down the bottom corner, which is select camera mode. So mess, blur background. So there is that option there for you. There's also multiple views. I really like this one. This one works for me if I had notes on there, which I actually think they are my notes. No, they're not, but you'll see them in just a moment. And I think I would have typed them in. Here we go. Boop, boop, boop. See, there's some notes there. They are there. I quite like the way that this is set up, but there are different views. So slide view means I don't have any of those distractions. If that is what you really like, you can do that. Presenter view has the next slide here on the right. It has all your notes here. You're able to move through it. So you can see I've got notes there. You can move through it that way. Then the other one is the auto cue, which is quite lovely if you're wanting to record yourself, and it will actually auto scroll, which, let me see if I can find. And it will auto, so you can see how this section here has a lot of writing, right? Which is like my script. So I'll use this page to demonstrate how it works. So think I've showed you almost everything. I'm going to show you the ability to do some annotations and drawing on our slides in a moment. But before I do that, I'll just show you how it actually works when we record. So what's cool about this recording studio is that you record on a slide and then, you've got your roll on and you're really happy about it and you're presenting and you're recording, you click to the next slide. You want to take a breath then because it won't record as you're just going to the next slide. So you take a breath and you keep recording, and you can just do that. You could do your whole presentation in 10 minutes and you're done. But what's really cool is if you make a mistake on slide 7, you don't have to re-record slides 1 through 6. They're there. You can just redo that one slide. So that's really good if you're editing it and you want to tweak it. You don't have to tweak everything. You can do it in multiple sittings if you want. So let me just give you a go here. And what I'm going to do is start recording here, which is the big red button in the top. And I don't know if it will appear because of the slide sharing, but it will give me a countdown from 3. So let's have a go here. 3, 2, 1. In this video, we're going to learn how to find the slide master on PowerPoint and how you can use that to customize presentations by making universal changes of font, background, colors, and bullets. And it's really interesting here because this is not actually scrolling, which for me says that there's something wrong in the setup. There we go. My scroll speed was too slow. But anyway, let me show you this part here. I've recorded this one, and then I'm going to go to this slide, and I'm going to talk on this slide, and I'm presenting. As you can see by my camera here, I'm not looking at the right spot. So if you've got multiple screens, you probably want to put them so that you're facing the camera and you're talking there. But anyway, that's 2 of them. I'm going to hit stop so that you can see what I did there. So I'm going to go back to where I was at first. And if you want to watch what you've just done, to review it, you can hit play. In this video, we're going to learn how to find the slide master on PowerPoint. So can everyone hear that as it played back? Yep, beautiful. And then I'll go to the next one here. Recorded this one, and then I'm going to go to this slide and I'm going to talk. And you can see that there. The other thing that I will show you before we get out of this section and I send you off to have a play on your own is this button here. You may not use this, but you might. Like if you have a particularly complicated diagram and you want to sort of highlight something and point it out, maybe it's useful. So for example, I'm going to hit record again. And as I'm talking and explaining about something, what I can do is I can select a color and I can decide to really highlight something here. I can draw on it. I can draw attention to it. I can do all sorts of things. I can rub out if I want to. I can change lots of things. I can turn it into a highlighter and I can work with green. As you can see, there's all sorts of things that you can do. So that's all there. And as I'm talking and explaining about something, what I can do is I can select a color and I can decide to really... So you can see how that works there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just, before I send you off to have a little bit of a play, I'm going to get out of here and I'll reshare and you can see what it looks like back on this end. Okay, so here I am. What I have is a few slides that I've had a play with. So you can see that this slide here has the video down the bottom corner. I can watch it here if I want to, which I'm not going to, but I can. I can delete it if I want. I could choose to have the size larger just by changing that here, and I could move it if I wanted to. Whether I would or not is another story. Let me just turn this back on so you can see me talking to you. Whether I would move it or not, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And as I said initially, it's nice to keep things really simple and clean. And And, you know, there is a temptation when you learn something, you know, to have bouncing videos across the place. Sometimes that's just quite distracting. So my advice is probably to choose a spot and keep it, but it's up to you. It will, now that I've moved that, even if it's slightly off when we record the video, you'll notice the change as it goes. So have a think about that. You can see all of the different elements are all on there. And I'm just going to take you to the final thing. So we could pretend that I have recorded all of the things that I wanted to record and everything is as I wanted it and I'd previewed that. So the way that you can preview that is by clicking this button here, and you will preview your recorded video. And so that will include any videos that you've embedded or your own video of yourself. So it'll all be there and you're happy. Everyone's feeling good. The final step that you need to do is to export the video, which is this button here. And if you remember, let me see if I can go down here and show you actually. I think it's this one here. If you're in the recording studio and you're doing it all there and you're happy and ready to go, you don't even have to go out. You can just click the export button from there. But here it is here. And what I'm going to do is export. Has that, I don't know if I've lost you there.
We've got the record yourself talking slide up.
And you're not seeing this other one. All right, but let's.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, beautiful. You can see like a table with like an orange. Beautiful, excellent. So this is what comes up. It has the file name of which I could change if I wanted to. And then you're just and then you can select where you want to export it to. So like your downloads folder or whatever folder you want to put that in. And you just very simply hit export video. It's that easy. Some of this, okay, I'm just going to continue for some reason. I think that's the video that I had. I had multiple videos on top of each other of the puppies, and it's saying that it won't export that properly, which makes sense because I had them over the top of each other. So it's just taking a few seconds. The longer your presentation is, the longer it will take. What I'm going to ask everyone to do is I want you to pull up your PowerPoint. I'm going to give you a full 10 minutes now, of which I've been talking for a long time. Take this 10 minutes to run to the bathroom, have a stretch, grab a drink of water, and then sit down and have a play with that recording studio. I'm here to answer any questions, but if we could keep the questions written in the chat, that would help people who are recording and they don't want us talking over the top of their recording. So what we'll do, I was hoping that this would happen much fast. Oh, it's happening pretty fast now. I'll show it to you really briefly. We'll run, we'll have a quick break, you'll have a quick play, I'll answer questions in the chat, and you'll mute yourself on here. And then after that 10 minutes, we'll come back and check in, and then we'll have another 10 minutes of application, because it takes a little bit of time to put these things into action. Ugh, it's not happening fast. So,
Eddie, could I show everyone something that I just discovered here?
Yes, let me stop my share.
Oh, I think I'll come up if I'm talking on people's screens. But when I first logged on, I had this flare in my camera because I've got downlights in this room, which a lot of people have got now. A sticky note stuck on top of your computer to shadow the camera takes the flare away. If I get it out of the way, the flare comes back.
Excellent.
It's just something really simple.
So you've stuck it on top of your computer like a little shelf.
It's just out of view above the camera, but it shades the camera lens from the flare. And so
that's a great tip.
If you've got downlights in your house, you might want to use that one.
I often I try to do my recordings in the middle of the day because I find the lights are, like you can see, they're not fabulous at the moment. There was one time that I had I was like an influencer and I had like the ring light, but I usually have my glasses on and the ring light has big rings on my glasses, and it's just a bit of trial and error. And Ben, that's a fantastic solution to that particular problem. Although I don't mind it. I quite liked that little flare.
Okay.
This is thinking for ages. So I think what we'll do is we'll take this 10 minutes or so. So what we've got is it's 10 past 6 for me now, 10 past 7 for New South Wales people, I guess. Let's take 10 minutes. I'm here to answer questions in the chat, but try and put some of this in action. Before we go, does anyone have any specific questions they'd like answered now? Or would you like me to quickly show you again how you find the videos part? Or do you feel like you've got it? Everyone's good? All right. Well, my video just downloaded, so I am going to take this second to show it to you because it just finished. So I am opening up this video, and it's going to be a bit of a crummy video because it was bits and bobs of all sorts of things, but let's see here. So this is where it has come up for me to share. I'm just going to hit play. So what's going to happen on the ones that I didn't actually have recordings on, because there was quite a few of those, there is a standard 5 seconds that it just sits there for 5 seconds, which can be useful if you just want to show some things. You know that it's 5 seconds or so, and you can actually, when you export it, you could have clicked customize. In this video, we're going to learn how to find the slide master on PowerPoint and how you can use that to customize presentations by making universal changes of font, background, colors, and bullets. And it's really interesting here because this is not actually scrolling, which for me says that there's something wrong in the slide and I'm presenting, and I can decide to really highlight something here. I can draw on it. I can draw attention to it. You know, what else can we, hold on, let's go through here. Let's see if this one played. Now that's interesting. So this one didn't actually play, that first video. And so this is where you have to watch what you create to make sure it does what you want it to do. So we'd need to troubleshoot that and find out why that video didn't play. But you can see that this one is playing. The other thing that you can see here, this opens up and that you can actually trim down this video here, which is fabulous. If there's something, you know, if you want to trim it in different places, you can have a go at doing that as well. If you could show it again. Now, Anna, do you mean show again where to find the video? I will do that right now. So I'm going to stop my share. Let me get rid of this. Okay. All right. So here we are. And I have to do a double take with the sharing here. This record tab up the top. And what we want to do is we want to either record. So there's a couple of options here for recording, either from the current slide or from the beginning. You just click that button there and a thing will pop up for you. Let me click it. However, I'm not 100% sure if it, I think if I do this, it might actually work. Let me see. I'm hoping that this is working for you. Can you see the whole recording studio now? Perfect. So it comes up here, and the thing that you will need to do, which it's not letting me because there we go, is you want to turn your camera on, and it's not letting me because my camera's on in this. Hold on, I'll just do it again here. So you want to turn your camera on here, and here I am. And then you will just click the record at the top to have a go. So have a play, see how it goes for you. We'll meet back at, let's actually meet back at past. So past, whatever time it is for you. Unless you're in another, anyway, in 15 minutes, let's do that. And that'll give you plenty of time. So I'm going to be here answering any questions in the chat for you, but let's make sure everyone's muted so that you can record to your heart's content on on your computer. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share. Just so I want to spend the next little part of time troubleshooting any issues that you had. I can see that Kerry's got a few questions in the chat, which I'm going to attend to in just a second, Kerry, if that's okay. But I just want to hear, if I can hear from everyone, just how did you go? Did anyone have success? Did anyone completely not get anything happening? I'd just love to hear either in the chat or verbally from everyone here to just get a touch point for where you're at. And whether you were successful at all. Feel free to. So Ben, you're unmuted at the moment. I'm going to go straight to you because you're unmuted.
I'll jump in. The first video I recorded had no audio, but I have been having some Bluetooth issues with these headphones. So I just went and did it a second time, and it picked it up second time. So.
Excellent, because there's always little tiny things. And I'm wondering, Kerry, in the chat, you've said something about how your camera wasn't working when you recorded. And I'm wondering whether it's, could it be because you've got the Zoom open? Like trying to do two things at once that require your audio and your camera and various things could be causing some glitches. And the other thing could be that I was thinking about was, is there a security setting or something that is in Windows for your camera? So we need to make sure that we give permissions for the cameras to work and things like that. Did anyone else? So Ben, you got it to actually work, which is great. Kelly, did you get something to work in the end, or I think Minu has a thumbs up, which I'm assuming you got something to work.
I was trying to get my picture in the circle, but now I never eventually. And when I did the voice, it was I got the voice, but I just couldn't get my picture in the PowerPoint sheet.
Okay, to come up, it didn't work at all. Like the camera didn't pick it up at all.
It said camera in use, so I don't know if I was using PowerPoint or
Because and I wonder if it's to do with being in Zoom, which for me, I'm able to get it working. Like I had to play with it at first by turning my camera off here properly. So like as in to do this, which means down the bottom of Zoom, what I do is I click on the video icon on the bottom left of Zoom that turns my video off. So I wonder if you were to do that, Kelly, because I think that before your video had like an icon on it and it looked like your video was on, but I couldn't actually see you. I wonder if that has something to do with it. And something else I discovered once, which makes me feel like a bit of a goose, was I actually called IT and I was like, my video's not working. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, it's not working. And there's like a little slider on my laptop, which they were real impressed when they came into my office to help me fix my video. And I had and I'll do it for you right now. It just blacks me out completely. There's a little privacy slider that had just been knocked across. But your camera is working right now, Kelly, for me. So I don't think that's an issue for you right
cool.
now.
I'll keep trying.
How about anyone else? Did anyone have any success? And I would love, I don't know. Nish had some success. That's fantastic. Is anyone who's super successful did you download any videos and have them, did you get to that point to download the actual MP4? And would you like to share it with us if you were brave enough? You don't have to. But if you wanted to, you could do that now. So have a think about it. And if you're willing to share and you would like to, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I have two specific more things I wanted to show you just to take us right to that final point. The first of those is I want to just show you the very, very simple way that you can take your MP4 file when you're finished and you've got your video file and how you could perhaps upload that to YouTube. I want to show you really briefly how you can do that. And then the second is, it's a new thing that has actually just been released by the university, and I have a feeling you may have got an email about it, but I know everyone just gets hundreds of emails and sometimes they're really easy to miss. There's a new sort of, how do we call it? It's called the Assessment Skills Toolkit, and I just wanted to take the time that I've got you here, particularly as I know that there's a few of you who are new, that I could show you it, and it's got some really useful resources that may help in regards to recording presentations that might help you. So first of all, has anyone here uploaded anything to YouTube before? I'm sorry, I couldn't see if anyone was actually not. No one has. I have my YouTube up and open here. What we need to, you can see, yeah, there's, anyway, it's always a little bit of an open-eyed into someone's personal life to see what their YouTube things are. But all you need to do is in the top right corner in YouTube, you do need to create an account. That is one thing that you need to do if you want to upload a video to YouTube. So you can see that I'm logged in here. And if you're not logged in, you'll need to create an account and log in. I just use my Gmail email. I don't know if you're able to use your student email for it or whether you need to have a Gmail. Anyway, this is very old, my account. So that's what I have there. So you want to make sure that you're actually logged in for starters. And the very simple thing that you do to create your video is you hit create and upload a video. So it's the first option. And it will take you, that's weird. It usually doesn't, there we go. It takes you to this screen here, which is upload video. And it is so simple. You just select the file, or you can actually drag and drop. Hopefully I've got one here. Let's see, what have I got? I think this is my puppies video. I'll upload that because it's only very short. So wherever your MP4 is, you go and you find it and you select it. What you want to do, if you're doing an assignment, every unit assessor is different. Some may have an actual required file name that you might need. I don't know. I usually would do, and then maybe whatever the unit code is. I don't know. That you do whatever your unit assessor says. Give it a name. Just make sure you know what it is. So then I scroll down and I always say, no, it's not made for children, because it's generally not. And then hit next. It will do all of this automatically for you. You just hit next. What happens here is it will do a check for any copywriting issues that there are. Most of the time that's fine. For my students, often we're doing things like actual dances, and sometimes they'll put music that is copyrighted, like if they use like a, I don't know, like a Taylor Swift song or something like that. YouTube will pick that up and it will mute it out. So you need to be really careful with things that are copyrighted. You shouldn't be using them anyway, but YouTube will mute them out. So it does a little check and then you go next. And here's the most important thing. Again, every UA is different for what they require. But for me, I would always require a YouTube link to be unlisted. The reason I do that is because I don't want it out there public for the world to see, and I'm sure you don't either. You just want it to be private. But if you choose private here, your marker cannot see it. And that's a real problem. So you want to have it unlisted. So it means that it's private and no one's able to go and just randomly find it on the internet. But if someone has the URL link, then they can actually view it. So this is the most important thing that you can select when you're uploading a video to YouTube. And then you just go save. I could have saved that URL link there before, but it's published now. If yours is like 10 minutes long or 6 minutes long, it might take longer than that. This is really short, so that was pretty quick. So I'm just going to copy that video link there, and that's what you'll need to, I don't know, every UA is different, but perhaps you'll copy and paste it into your assessment template. If it's me, I'll require you to create a QR code so that it's really easy for your marker to view. But I'll just open this little doohickey here, and you should be able to see the video straight away. And there's our cute puppies again. Does anyone have any questions about that? It's all pretty simple, self-explanatory. And then they'll be there, and you can choose to keep them there for the duration of your assignment, and then you could delete them if you wanted to. You could turn them to private later on if you wanted to. But this is just one form of video sharing that can happen. I do constantly hear rumors that we might have different video platforms that we'll use at the university, but at the moment, this is a very common way that things are submitted. You may also be required to submit through VoiceThread, but your unit assessor will give you instructions about how to do that. Is that all good? Excellent. One last thing I want to actually show you before we'll move on to some more troubleshooting. Let me just share this screen here. I'm going to send you this, give you this link. As a student at SCU, you should be able to have access to this. You don't have to use this. It's only brand new, but I just actually was thinking of you all who have volunteered to come and have a play with me, and I thought this might help you. So I just wanted to show it to you. So it's got a whole bunch of things you can do with those as you will. It's got this section here, which is produce oral presentations, which it'll send you through a whole bunch of different things, and how to record and various things here. So lots of information that you could go through and watch as well if you wanted to. I just wanted to show it to you. I think it could be useful moving forward. It may actually even be useful for other things like finding academic sources and planning your assessments and other types of assessment tasks. Say, for example, if you need to create a website or something like that, there's lots of information here. So just wanted to give that as a little sharesies before we finish up. We've got about sort of 15 minutes left. Does anyone have any specific questions or problem solving that you would like to try and talk through for what you got done tonight?
Nothing from me, Katie, but that was a great introduction. Thank you.
Oh, I'm really glad. I'm glad I mean, sometimes it can just feel nice to just have a quick go, and then you do need to spend some time. Like you need to problem solve and go, oh, this microphone's not working, but you might find that a different way of plugging it in, or and those headphones are a good option if you find the sound isn't great on your laptop. Having like some sort of headphones that have like a microphone, you can attach those as well. Oh, thanks, Kerry. Okay, so hopefully you can sort it out with the camera. And I wonder if once you get off this Zoom meeting, whether you'll be able to get it working, because your computer's not trying to do two different things at once. Hopefully it does work there. I'm happy to stick around and problem solve with anyone if anyone wants to share their screen and try and sort some things out. Otherwise, it is getting on quite late in the evening. I'm happy to also let everyone go and get your dinner and whatnot. So I will stick around. What I might do is I might stop the recording. And these recordings